The numbers told the story. They always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gill Alexander on VSiN.
Good Wednesday morning to you. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, Sirius XM Channel 158. However you're taking us in, we appreciate it. I know I do. It's Gill Alexander. That right there is Matt Brown.
Sorry, haters, back again.
You don't have any haters, do you? No. For those listening in Spanish, Mateo Moreno. Matt in for the vacationing, or I should say the on assignment, Kelly Bidlin, who remains, as far as we know, in Nashville, Tennessee.
I did get a like on an Instagram video that I shared with him, so he is alive. I did get a little like on it.
Unless someone has taken over his
commandeered his
social
phone,
accounts.
and
That's
then
right.
who knows?
The plot thickens.
Yes.
Yeah, we got a text from Kelly. He wanted a tennis play or something. Speaking of that, we'll get to that. We got a couple tennis plays this morning. Yesterday's tennis play, Daniil Medvedev had three match points. Guess what happened, man?
I'm going to guess he didn't pull through.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Today on the show, Paul Sporer joins to talk Major League Baseball. Nick Whalen. Let's talk some fantasy today with Nick Whalen, shall we? You're a fantasy guy, yes? You still play a whole bunch of fantasy leagues? How many leagues?
Yeah, I'm only in, well, as far as like season long goes, I'm only in 2. And those are just like the old friends
you're more
leagues
of a DFS
and stuff.
guy?
But like moved into more best ball stuff. I'll play DFS when I want to make the drive to the border, because we can't do it here.
Understood.
But I'll make a trip to Arizona or California or something like that before here in the next couple of weeks to go and just unload on best ball tournaments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk real NFL, and then we'll talk fantasy NFL with Nick Whalen, the co-host of Prop Points a little later on, and then Wishnev Wednesdays. Toddy Wishnev in the house. You've met Todd. Oh, you've been on the Megapod with Todd before, so you've had the Wishnev experience.
Oh, I know. Way back.
Way back.
Back.
As always on this show, all of our contests, caller 106 wins, and first prize is 1 day with Todd Wishnev, second prize 2 days with Todd Wishnev.
Remember when we were doing primetime action, Todd just like lived in the sports book there.
That's right.
I mean, he was always there.
That's how I met Todd when we were at South Point. I was doing a numbers game there, and one day he milled about outside the studio after his action days.
He's lived there.
Oh, we've been thick as thieves. It's tennis today, if you can stomach more atrocities. Thiago Agustin Tirante is the first play today on the men's side versus Jakub Mensik. Or as you call him,
TAT.
TAT.
There we go.
Matt is spitballing.
As long as he's in this tournament, he's TAT. There we go.
Matt is workshopping TAT. It's going to be a thing. He's a big dog against Jakub Mensik, plus 183. The hard court numbers are there, so I am firing. The other one is a great match on the ladies' side. 2 hard hitters. And by hard hitters, I mean, you see Anisimova against Yala the other night. She was just rocketing forehands. I'm on Anisimova, the American, at even money versus Linda Noskova, the Wimbledon champion. These are in Cincinnati, both on the men's and the ladies' side. These are today in tennis. Baseball, our Detroit Tigers August play. Sorry, folks. It's on life support. I said a couple days ago when you hear Matt, next 6 games, the remaining easy, in quotes, 6 games on their August schedule. They had to go minimum 5-1. Well, they're 1-1, so they gotta really rock it off. 4 straight wins here. Last one, the rubber match here. They lost yesterday to the Pirates 4-1. Rubber match against the Pirates today, and then it's a 3-game set at Kansas City. You got to win those because right now we're almost dropping off the board here. We're 3 wins back of a bevy of teams. Phillies, Padres, Cubs. I think a lot of people probably have those teams. Phillies, Padres, Cubs. Cubs were my second choice. They're all 12-5. Then you got the Rays at 11-5, the Cardinals and Blue Jays at 11-6, Mets, Red Sox, Brewers all with 10 wins, and then you get to now the somewhat mediocre Detroit Tigers after that weekend swoon against the White Sox. Again, if this was done on run differential, we'd be in second place now behind the Red Sox. But yeah, not so much. It's not done on run differential. That's just a tiebreaker. So 11 games left for the Tigers. If it's going to happen, it's got to happen now. You, however, sir, because I just mentioned the Phillies were at the top of this, 12-5. Phillies on a bit of a surge here in the month of August. And in real life, Phillies therefore creeping in on the Atlanta Braves. You have fired on a bet.
I fired on it last night, and I knew it was off market. I didn't know. I guess it was just mispriced because it is $4.75 this morning.
Where'd you get it?
DraftKings.
At?
The 8-1.
8-1. Wow. Nice timing.
So, well, that's why it was a little, I think it just didn't update or something or whatever, because FanDuel was at 460. MGM was at like 475. So I was like looking around and going, wait a minute, 8-1. This doesn't add 7 head-to-heads left, right, in this.
Mm-hmm.
Then not only have the 7 head-to-heads, but you also have a team that, if you're talking about just talent and player for player, I mean, it's kind of like right there with the Braves. Certainly from a pitching staff standpoint, I like the Phillies pitching staff much better than I like the Braves pitching staff. So I was kind of like just looking around and was willing to play something if it was in the 6-ish range. And then when I saw 8, jumped all over that. So do have an 8-1 now in the account for the Braves. I was coming in here to be able to scream to everyone, run to DraftKings and get it. And instead, overnight, they did fix it. So
it's gone.
It's back to 475.
Yeah. Good job by you. This has been the case all year with these two teams, right? The Braves have, they flew out to the lead. You know, a lot of people, I'll go through the Fezzik trajectory. He was betting Braves again, Braves a third time, Braves a fourth time. This is in May. And, you know, I would say to him, I'd be like, you know, Steve, it's May. And
162
this goes to the end of September. And then when the Phillies made a surge, he started betting the Phillies at plus prices again. So I think he's okay financially either way at this point. Yeah. But then the Braves sort of quelled that uprising, to use the geopolitical analogy on there. And now we have it at the Braves currently with a 5.5 game lead. That's it, after the Phillies have won 5 straight. So Phillies trailed the Braves, by 5.5 games in the East. Cubbies trail the Brewers by 4.5 in the Central in the National League. Padres still 8 back of the Dodgers. No matter the swoon or whatever you want to call it with the Dodgers, it's still an 8-game difference. Yankees 5 back of the Rays. Keep in mind, this is with less than 6 weeks left in the season at the AL East. Twinkies actually 4 games behind the White Sox now, with the Guardians and Tigers both 4.5 behind the White Sox, who are staving off almost the entire division, Royals not included. And the only one that's super close, Matt, once again, is the AL West, where the Houston Astros rule the roost at 500, 63-63. Rangers 1 game back, Mariners 4 games back. I said to Joe Sheehan yesterday, I was like, I'm done with the Rangers and the Mariners. I don't know. I believe, and I am actually actively rooting for a losing team to win this division.
As long as that losing team is the Astros, I don't care. That would be great with that.
What do you have them at?
9.5.
Oh, when did you get that?
So, about a month and a half ago. So they were about 5 out. And then I just looked at this division. I'm like, all of these teams are terrible. So why not the Astros? You know, I mean, and I thought they would be aggressive at the.
Why not us?
I thought they would be aggressive at the deadline, which they really weren't. But I thought they would be trying to really improve that lineup, because looking around again, they were not going to be scared of the Rangers or the Mariners that can't hit at all. And then of course the Angels and Athletics were never even part of the discussion. So yeah, I was like, you know what? Why not at 9.5-1? Like, let's do it. Because they were at that point, they were the third shot on the board, because the Rangers were leading the division and they were basically tied with the Mariners at the time. And so
the Mariners, who, by the way, in case folks missed it, lost 22-0 to the Brewers yesterday. That's not a joke.
It's a tie for the modern baseball record, Gill. Like, no, for a 22-0 shutout. It's only happened 2. Baseball's been around a while, as you well know.
I am aware.
Yes.
I'm being told that is true.
Yeah. It is only twice.
I attended, I think, an 18-0 game. Someone will have to fact check this for me. Patriots Day 1990. I was in school in Boston, and the Brewers, I want to say, came in and beat the Red Sox 18-0. That doesn't come close to 22-0.
And I mean, basically, again, thousands of games every season, and it's been around 100 years. And that this has only happened twice, a 22-0 shutout, is absolutely crazy. And also, you mentioned the Dodgers. I want to give a little golf clap. Kyle Tucker finally got a hit.
Hey.
He's 1 for his last 27, but he did get a hit. So 1 for his last 27. Well done.
God, between like him and Cal Raleigh, going back to the Mariners, just like the brutal season. But you said it right, which is Cal Raleigh, we knew, listen, I know there's a lot of people that were all over Cal Raleigh last year. We knew it was kind of an overperformance. Yeah. We wouldn't have expected this kind of decline.
No.
Kyle Tucker, though, with all the fanfare in the world, dropping fly balls.
Arguably a top 15 player in all of baseball.
Yeah.
And to have this happen.
Brutal. Just go back to the American League for a second. Just give a reflection of, because we always throw it around, how epically flat-earthed the American League is. There are only 5 teams. By the way, I did this about a month ago, and there was 2 teams that were in positive run differential territory. But now it's 5. But the 5 teams in order, first to fifth, the number 1 run differential team is the Boston Red Sox, plus 96. followed by the New York Yankees at plus 87, followed by the Detroit Tigers, the 4 games below 500 Detroit Tigers at plus 83. And then the only other teams in positive run differential are the Rays at plus 48 and the White Sox at plus 44. Those 2 teams happen to lead their respective divisions. Everybody else, the remaining 10 teams in the league, are all with a negative run differential, including the entire American League West division. And they're not close to zero, by the way.
Yeah.
The Astros are minus 32 leading that division.
Look at this division. Last 10, Astros 4-6. Last 10, Rangers 4-6. Mariners 3-7. Angels are the best, 5-5 over the last of the Angels.
Oh no, Matt! If you do that, we just showed the top of the August standings. If you go to the full August standings, certainly this is applied in July too. It's like all 5 AL West teams are always bunched up at the bottom. It seems like it's really bad. It's really bad, and then the playoffs will start, and anything can happen in a best of 3,
right.
Best of 5, best of 7. But I still think the Yankees, by the way, the Yankees still the short shot to win the pennant at 3-1, followed by the Rays at plus 360, the Red Sox at 6-1, and then the Astros and White Sox at plus 750 and 8-1. By the way, Tigers way down there because you don't even know if they're getting in, 22-1. I still think the Yankees full strength. This has never changed with me. Will asked me on his podcast, should have bet more months ago, like, what's the best bet on the American League board? Still Yankees to win the pennant. Feels like that to me.
They get a decent start out of Rodon yesterday, too. I mean, they activate him kind of out of nowhere.
Where are you, Aaron Judge? He'll be back soon. They've always got somebody coming back, somebody huge. NFL preseason. We'll take a look at tomorrow and Friday's games and more next on a numbers game right here at VSiN. You're here because you want an edge. That's what separates listeners from winners. But let's be real, mindset alone doesn't get bets home. Pros win because they've got the tools, the data, and the discipline. And now so can you. VSiN Pro gives you access to the same real-time insights the sharps use. No secrets, no fluff, just actionable info that moves markets. Tap the link and see why serious bettors are turning knowledge into profit with VSiN Pro.
Numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Week 0 of college football is almost here with the NFL regular season right behind it. Now's the time to get your edge with VSiN Pro. Join VSiN Pro today. Get instant access to both our college football and NFL betting guides, packed with team previews, power ratings, proven betting systems, and best bets from VSiN's top analysts. And that's just the start. You also get daily best bets from VSiN hosts and guests, real-time betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, AI-powered prop tools and matchup analysis, plus 24/7 video on the VSiN Watch app. Start today for just $9.99. That's $9.99. Or save 50% with a VSiN Pro annual subscription. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. Gill Alexander, Matt Brown. You can follow Matt on Twitter at MattBrownM2. He always greets with an ahoy. You're going to bring that back eventually. Ahoy. Yesterday with Joe Sheehan, I was trying to bring back nincompoop. He brought that word up. I was like, that's an underrated put down.
Bring it on back, yeah.
Nincompoop. Tweets at Beating the Book. Poke Therapy. Is there going to be a U.S. Open Megapod? You bet your sweet bibby it will be. There will be. Zach Cohen, hopefully back from his European vacation by then, so I can't guarantee it. I don't know what his travel plans are.
Is it losing some steam? We might be without both of our studs here in this one.
Well, that's interesting you bring that up because yesterday when Drew was on, Drew and I will certainly do it, if not with Zach. It was Sinner, Alcaraz, looks like they're both playing. And then yesterday, I don't know if you saw this on prediction markets, but the Sinner no price was hit hard.
Yeah.
As if somebody knows something.
Yeah, this morning, just as I was, prepping for the show, a couple of different things came through my line here of in doubt, of in doubt of playing.
You imagine in the end that Carlos plays and he doesn't?
Yeah.
I have no inside information, but I'm just telling you what happened on the prediction markets yesterday. Chris Heath, this one is for you, Mateo. Wait, Matt has to drive to Arizona or California to play DFS, but can wager at DraftKings and FanDuel from Nevada?
Oh, yeah, I know. You got me. No, I have a business partner that lives in Phoenix. I have a brother that lives in Louisiana as well. So
gotcha.
There's no skirting the geofencing here. That is not happening.
And is this true? Chris, he says, this isn't true. He says, also, I heard DraftKings Sportsbook is available in California starting on September 2nd.
That is not true.
That is not true.
Absolutely not true.
That is false.
That would be false. That would be the biggest news in all of sports gambling.
Yes, it would be.
Because if they had the monopoly in California, that would be.
Wow. Where did Gill go? He's in California.
The monopoly in California would be something.
Patrick Kelly, good morning. They had to rub it in and go for 2 to make it 22-0 last night. We're talking about the Brewers win over the Mariners.
I'm glad this one came up because there's a little fun one here. The Seahawks gave up 22 or more points in a football game last year 4 times. 4 times out of 17.
That's not even that comparison. And we did fact check yes, it was Patriots Day, 1990, 18-0 Brewers over the Red Sox. And Danny Higgins tells me that the statistical anomaly of that game is that the Brewers did not even hit a home run in that game. 18 runs, no homers.
The no homers part is like the wild part. Score 18 runs without hitting a single jack.
I was there with my Jamaican girlfriend at the time, Natalie, who wanted to have baseball explained to her. Some of the origins of my inability to explain my whole thing when I say baseball is the hardest sport to explain. Sorry, I can't explain the base hit to you.
Yeah, it's just, and then you're going to ask the follow-up question. This is going to be way too hard about well, how come you threw it there and then it went there and then he was able to do, and you're like, yeah, I can't do this right now.
Can't explain the infield fly rule to you.
I don't want to do this.
Right. That's the famous Al Michaels story when Bob Costas first met Howard Cosell. Do you know that story?
No.
Well, Bob Costas, this young, aspiring national sportscaster, he finally meets Howard Cosell. Mr. Cosell, Bob Costas, NBC Sports. And Cosell takes his cigar out and goes, I know who you are. You're the child that rhapsodizes about the infield fly rule.
It's like Costas just sits there and goes, awesome. I just got berated by Howard Cosell. It's amazing.
The child.
Yeah. You're like, I love this. He just wore that like a badge of honor too. He just went back to all his friends and go, Howard Cosell just berated me. It was the greatest thing that ever happened to me in my life.
And then Michael Lafon, or Michael, I believe that's how it's pronounced. Sorry, Michael, if it's not. He says, Gill, I love to follow baseball, bet the games, but I will buy season tickets. I will buy season tickets to watch scab players if it helps MLB get a salary cap. Not sure that's how it works, but I understand the sentiment. He says the game is just unfair, and the arguments made to say it's not are laughable.
Yeah. I don't think we will get scab players.
I don't think we will.
Yeah, it's just there's too many positions to fill, for all of that and everything. It's just, but we're heading to a lockout for sure. This is happening. Yeah,
but Joe Sheehan, who loves baseball more than all of us combined yesterday, he says, I don't think it's going to happen. And I don't know, Joe's being honest, but maybe there's some wishful thinking that creeps in that. I do feel there's a date where this, if this is still happening at the beginning of March, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
We're going to miss some games.
And Gil, it's, I think baseball's in about as good a position that's been since you and I were kids, basically,
I do too.
And I, not that it would kill the game, but I do think that they have to be smart enough to understand that we live in an era right now where there's a lot of other things to do, a lot of other things to occupy your time, a lot of different ways to try to capture people's attention and stuff. And it's like, if you fall, even if it's 6 months, if you fall out of favor for 6 months,
this ain't 1994.
You can get replaced.
Yes.
There will be something to step in. And so hopefully cooler heads prevail here in all of this. I pray.
Let us pray.
I pray. Yes.
Week 2, NFL preseason of the 3-week NFL preseason arc. And let's just talk about some games tomorrow and Friday while you're here, Matt. Get your thoughts on these. By the way, of all the preseason games we just counted, there's only 4 of the 16 that have spreads bigger than 3.5. Tomorrow, there's a couple games. Raiders are at Houston. Kirk Cousins, of course, takes the bulk of the first-team reps in camp, while Fernando Mendoza has worked primarily with the second unit. But the Raiders do plan to give Mendoza extended first-team reps in this game against Houston. And D'Amico Ryans of the Texans saying that they're going to change their approach here in week 2. He anticipates that everyone healthy and cleared to play will start in the final preseason game for the Texans at home. That means C.J. Stroud, Will Anderson, Nico Collins, they're all in for at least a few live snaps.
Yeah, I'm more interested in watching this one just to kind of see what this Raiders team looks like operating with Mendoza at quarterback. That's about it for me. I do think that he will take over at some point. I'm on the later than sooner. I know there are some people on the sooner than later train, but it just, to me, why
are we in a rush?
As an organization, you have to look in the mirror and say, okay, there's 0 chance of us winning this division. There's almost 0 chance of us making the playoffs. So bring this kid out there to throw to, as we named the other day when we were talking, no-name receivers.
Right.
For what? What are we doing? So, again, and with this draft that's coming up, it's not that bad of an idea to lose some games and whatever and get to the top of the draft and get a quarterback needy team to come in. And
we're going to talk AFC South later and NFC East, I believe. East? I can't remember what NFC division we're going to do, but we're going to do AFC South. And the Browns, I mean, that's their whole raison d'etre this year, right, is to just wait for the ability to pick a quarterback, which presumably will be Arch Manning, but couldn't Arch Manning still decide to return to college, theoretically, again?
He could.
Yeah.
He could.
So
they will throw the cash at him for sure. But, like, yeah, I mean.
For shizzle. Niners at the Chargers tomorrow. Mike Shanahan, when asked if Brock Purdy is going to play, quote, haven't told him yet, but there's a good chance. CMC is going to be out with lower body tightness. That's never fun.
Yeah.
Tight end George Kittle, Nick Bosa, both trending in the right direction, but they will remain sidelined. And Mike Evans left, I don't know if you saw this, yesterday's joint practice with leg soreness. Oh, the hits just keep on coming for the Niners. And then as far as the Chargers, starters are going to play a series. Jim Harbaugh was very clear about it. He says backups will play the rest of the game after the first series. Justin Herbert didn't play week 1, but he will debut under Mike McDaniel's system. McConkey will play a series. Johnston will play a series. Chargers, slight favorites in that ball game.
That's why I'm so incredibly bullish on this Rams team in the NFC West, Gill, because I kind of look at it as more of a head-to-head against them and the Seahawks as opposed to a three-way race between them and the 49ers. It's an old 49ers team. Mike Evans is having to be your number one receiver. McCaffrey's having to try to do stuff that guys that are smaller running backs have not been able to do, which is play into their 30s and play at a high level into their 30s and stuff. And it's just, to me, I think the lineups that you're getting out of the Seahawks and the Rams are just better than what we get at the 49ers. So I've actually looked at, and you saw the stuff in the betting guide. I'm just all over the Rams in every which way but loose. Mm-hmm. And I'm willing to pay the short price because on paper, this was before the Aaron Donald stuff even came out. Remember, we put that guide out like before the Aaron Donald stuff even came out.
He's so playing.
He's playing for sure.
He's so
playing. He's not getting out on that field and doing all that stuff for fun.
Totally playing.
Yeah, he's playing. He's just playing us is what he's doing.
That's what he's
yeah.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
By the way, I said the Chargers were a slight favorite. Niners, I believe, slight favorite in that game tomorrow night. Friday, there's a trio of games. Let's just talk about the first here. Jets at Pittsburgh. Oh, Aaron Rodgers' revenge game. Geno Smith dealing with a sore left ankle for the Jets since a joint practice with Tampa last week. Aaron Glenn declined to say whether he'll play or not. Here's the quote. So if it's playing in this game because he feels up to it and he's ready to go and he wants to be with the other guys, let's go. If it's not playing because we want to continue to be cautious in the situation, we'll do that. Thanks so much. And then Aaron Rodgers expected to play for new head coach Mike McCarthy of the Steelers. He asked Rodgers to play in the first two exhibition games, both against Rodgers' former teams. Aaron Rodgers, quote, he wants me out there for 30 or 40 plays. I said, Mike, if you want me to play, I'll play. Thanks, Aaron.
All right. There we go.
Steelers favored by 3.5. You got to play in any of those? No.
You want? No.
No, I don't either.
I genuinely do watch the games to see if there's anything to pick up and take with us, but like just not a big better for me.
For preseason. Yeah. Like I said, we don't begrudge anybody who does. Not every brain is wired that way. Paul Sporer, Major League Baseball, next, right here on A Numbers Game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A Numbers Game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Rainbow Authentics and VSiN are taking the bets to the beach. Tim Murray and Matt Humans, they get the tough assignment every year. They're heading to Hawaii for a special edition of VSiN Primetime, live from the islands, Wednesday, August 26th. That's a week from today, plus a beach edition of the College Football Betting Podcast, breaking down all the Week 0 action. He's got to wear a lei during that. I can just picture it already. Dome is VSiN in Paradise. Live from Hawaii, Wednesday, August 26th, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on VSiN.
They are not sipping something out of a coconut.
Mm-hmm.
There's a problem.
Eating a little humu nuku nuku wapa wa'a. I don't think you're allowed to.
My invitation also got lost in the email for this as well. Like it didn't get this one.
I have a trivia question for you. What's the only show whose hosts have never gone on any trip anywhere at VSiN?
I'm gonna go Numbers Game.
Bingo.
Nailed it.
That's right.
Nailed it.
That's right. They're like, Gill, you just go to California and enjoy yourself, buddy. You're not going to Omaha. You're not going to Hawaii. You're not going anywhere. Good for Tim and Matt, though. They have a ball down there. The University of Hawaii's football team, the official football team of VSiN, I believe, is also part of this.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure. Ladies and gentlemen, he comes to us from Austin, Texas to talk baseball with us. He works at FanGraphs. He's the host of the Sleeper and the Bust podcast. And beyond that, he's the content designer for Out of the Park Baseball, which is really his day job. It's Paul Sporer. You could follow him on Twitter at Sporer, Sporer, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. Paulie, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, y'all.
And Matt, you want to say something about the hat first, real quick?
Yes. Everybody that is watching on YouTube TV or the VSiN Watch app, I will let you know that is a custom-made hat. Paul got himself put on the hat right there. And look at that. Right. Just an exact clone of him right there on his hat.
What team is that really, Paul?
Actually, the Kannapolis Cannonballers. I took in a minor league game last summer when I went out to Charlotte to meet up with some friends to see the Savannah Bananas. So we were catching lots of fun baseball. All right. And yeah, I saw this and the guy with the mustache, I'm like, I'm instantly getting
Gots to. It's a gots to purchase situation.
100%.
And real quick, I don't want to leave it hanging. We talked a little bit about this off air. You are pro Savannah Bananas, right?
Very much so. Absolutely. Yes, just very much so. And I truly don't see a side against it. Like, I try to be open-minded and see pro con on everything, even stuff that I don't like. You don't have to like it, but I don't really see hating it and you can just ignore it. This is one of those where it's like, if it's not for you, that's totally fine. But it's clearly resonating big time. So to piss on it is kind of lame and speaks a lot about the people doing it. Like if you're vehemently against it, maybe look in the mirror and figure out
against it.
What's wrong with you, dude.
Get off my lawn, turn down your music, and I hate the Savannah Bananas.
I can't believe that guy did a flip when he caught the ball. It was ridiculous.
Right. It's like, you don't have to like it. It doesn't have to be for you. But let's be intellectually honest here and understand that it's clearly resonating very nicely and brings people into baseball, whether that's translated into MLB or not. Who cares, really? Baseball in general, showing that baseball is and can be very cool.
Now, you are wearing a Detroit Lions sweatshirt. That was not lost on me. And so is this your symbol? Is that a Lions sweatshirt? Yeah, I thought it was.
Yes, it is. And you read me like a book. I know what you're going to say right now.
Is this the symbolic? Is this the symbolic transition from baseball season to football season? Because after getting swept by the White Sox, you're waving the white flag on the Tigers? Is that what happened?
I knew you were. In fact, when I put this on, I was like, he's going to notice. He's going to say something. I'd be really surprised if you didn't. And of course you did. So sort of. Listen, I never thought that this team could, even right when they got out of the gate after the trade deadline looking good, the bullpen.
Yeah.
And look, Foolish Baseball on YouTube just did an excellent video talking about the dreadful May and Hinch. And he puts a lot of it at the feet of Hinch. And I got some disagreements maybe on that. This bullpen has never been improved. Like, they have a surface level ERA that's pretty good, horrendous skills. And this goes back to 24 with the Tigers bullpen. And so that was Hinch pressing the right buttons. And he pressed maybe some bad buttons in May. And I think the crux of that video was that he pushed guys too far. And to me, it's because he doesn't have better options. And Scott Harris has never tried to improve this bullpen meaningfully. And I don't mean signing big free agents. I'm fully against like the Edwin Diaz type contracts. I'm talking small trades and turning over waiver rocks and just repeatedly trying to find better guys. They're not doing that. And that's why even still, I know the Tigers are not dead. They could win 3 this weekend and all of a sudden they're right back in it, right? This is, even the White Sox series does not put them out of it, but they're paper Tigers. I know that's a little on the nose, but like, it's the perfect time to use that phrase because I love their run differential. The lineup is nice. The starting pitching, even without the 2 guys, has some real pieces. Without a bullpen, what can they realistically do both down the stretch in September, but even if they were to get in, what's it really going to do? There's no confidence in anybody but maybe Ty Madden, hook 'em horns.
The Detroit Paper Tigers. Well said.
I like it.
Yeah.
So, right. Paul, is today the day we find out if Paul Skeens is actually hurt or not? They push the start back 3. They push the start back 3 days. I mean, rookie season comes up, throwing 100, 101, 99. Basically, the floor was 98. Then last year, kind of like working at 98, 99. He said that was a conscious decision to come back down to that and wear and tear on the arm. And then now this last start, about 95 miles an hour, which like that's not a conscious decision, 3 miles off of where you were and all of that. Like this is kind of whether we find out if he's actually hurt or not, right?
It really, really seems like it. And it's about the only thing that makes sense, right, in terms of his struggles, because there are still so many things. It's amazing how good, quote unquote, his struggles are, because you really look at the core skills and they're still there. But I understand he's set a level so high that, yes, it needed to be examined. We need to understand like what's going on with Paul Skeens. And then, like you said, the recent velo dip is going to be a marker. There's a group of sickos that call themselves the Meatball Gang in the fantasy baseball world, and they started a 2027 draft last night. So they do the first 15 rounds now, and they do the rest of it, I think, in November after the season ends. And it's really interesting to kind of get a litmus test of where guys are right now. For those that don't follow fantasy, Skeens was a automatic first rounder last year. Somewhere in the first round he was going. He went in the 5th round of this, and this is a lot of super sharp fantasy players. The 17th starter off the board, and that owes to the scared factor right now that everyone has with him, Matt, going into this start. Because if it pops and he goes for surgery, I don't think anybody's going to be surprised. Because what else explains why he's fallen off like this? His stuff isn't even that far off. But when you're working at a level that he is, small margins, small differences can make you look mortal, which he has when we thought he was kind of immortal. So yes, Skeens right now, it is scary. And it's kind of the reality that we always have to face with these pitchers, right? They break. When you throw 100 consistently in upper 90s, they break. And it's going to probably come with Mizorowski. I'm not even trying to be a wet blanket or negative, and it's not jinxing it. That's not how things work. These guys break when they throw that hard. It could just be Skeens' turn. And like you said, we'll find out a lot today, this afternoon, and we'll see where he's at against the Tigers.
I am no physician, but I'm going to say that I don't believe human beings were meant to throw the ball 100 miles per hour and also with torque on their arm for other pitches.
And certainly not, for 200 plus innings. That's why we've seen the innings come down. We've traded that for this sort of max out excellence. And with that comes injuries. And that's why I'm usually pretty vehemently against all the stupid attempts to try to keep guys healthy, because it doesn't work. None of them are tangibly working. So use the bullets when you've got them, right? And push in your chips when you have 2 young pitchers really pushing forward and things like that.
The vehemently count it too, right there. Too.
And then there's a guy like Nolan Ryan who nothing happens to his arm until he's 44 years old.
Right.
And
He's a unicorn.
He's a unicorn.
And that's the thing.
Right.
Like sometimes there are unicorns, and that's why he is so amazing, truly.
Pirates are minus 153 favorites. That game starts at 12:35 p.m. So this will start while we're still on air at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Last question here, Paul, and this is coming from a guy who just literally 10 minutes ago, just said, when all said and done, I think it's the Yankees, right, who are the best team in the AL, head and shoulders above. I've said this multiple times this week and earlier. It's a pretty common opinion, I think. That said, from a betting standpoint, we get to bet things like World Series exactas and World Series matchups. And because of the flat earth AL, and because none of us has a crystal ball, I don't know that the Yankees are going to ultimately end up as the team. Shouldn't we all be betting, forget the exactas, but like matchups of like White Sox Phillies and White Sox Dodgers, or what would be the team in the AL that you would actually gravitate towards for a bang for your buck situation in those bets?
Man, yes, I agree with this notion of not just getting on the Yankees, because yes, it is still pending the health. The offense still has to come back. And they did just trade Rodon for free. So as great as the pitching is, and they can afford to kind of do that 1-for-1, that's not whole now either. So I understand why they're the favorites, but I think that there are other teams to consider. I'm still on these Red Sox, and I know that they've come back after their big run. But I think that's the natural thing after a 15-game win streak, is to maybe hit a lull. And let's see if they even out here as a plus team. I think that they still will. I still think that they have enough talent. Can Roman Anthony come back and do something? Been a lot of chatter about him, not a lot of performance. I can't get off this Red Sox team. Can the Rays make it work in the playoffs with what they do? I want to believe so. I think they have an ace in Rasmussen. I think they have a good bullpen. Baker's been excellent. So I wouldn't be off the Rays and the horror movie villain, the Astros. They're going to get in. And they still have Alvarez, man. And they've got some compelling pitchers here and there. Obviously, they're very much an underdog. But I still think that the Astros, when it comes to the playoffs, would be a team to look at. It's a wide open AL, like you said, because I didn't even mention a team like the Twins and Jays who are lurking. And if they make it, they could make some noise. I'm
with you on the Red Sox. That Whitlock Chapman 8-9 is all I can think about. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Don't forget to check out the Sharp Plays Unmatched Transparency with the records updated daily, AI betting analysis, real-time global betting info, and alerts directly from the pros. Scan the QR code on your screen for more. SharpPlays.com. Gill Alexander, Matt Brown in for the vacationing or the on assignment Kelly Bidlin. Listener Lance on Twitter. DK is live in all 50 states on September 2nd, but DK is set up like Kalshi in the states that don't allow the online sports books. It's technically DK prediction. Yes, that we know, Listener Lance. The gentleman before was referring to the sports book itself.
Yeah,
yes.
You can definitely do the prediction market in all 50. But even here, only in certain you can trade crypto. You can guess the crypto prices on there.
Fun.
If you want to do that. This is a tiny bit of breaking news, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is because it actually is moving the lines currently out there right now. So Will Howard is going to start against the Jets. Drew Aller second in this one, McCarthy just said, and this is actually here at Circa flipped favor. So the Jets are now 1-point favorites.
So all that thing I said about Aaron Rodgers saying if he wants me to play, I'll play is not happening anymore.
This is actually flipped to a point now in favor of the Jets here at Circa as opposed to a 1.5 on the Steelers side.
This is why we're here.
Yeah. There you go.
Let you know when things like that happen in preseason. All right. Drew Aller coming off just a fantastic performance for the Steelers. We'll get to the AFC North here. Speaking of the Steelers here in a moment. Let me just read a couple more of these. Primetime Leon Sanders, Cowboys_Cubs1 on Twitter. Yo, ahoy, nincompoops. Feel like the Mariners over the Brewers today is a lock. Big revenge spot. As word on the street is, the M's are still seething from Brewtown stealing their beloved pilots 55 years ago. Huge spot play. Huge. What say you, Matt Brown? Peace, love. Best listeners in the game, by the way.
I mean, look, Dustin May has actually been good since he came over to the Brewers.
Yeah.
It's weird. It was like this thing where we kind of thought that Dustin May had just lost it, and instead, like, it was needed a couple little tweaks here and there. I actually like what I've seen out of him. I don't love what I've seen out of this Mariners pitching staff here of late, but Logan Gilbert has actually been good of late. So actually would other side of that, I would be more towards the under than I would be on the over.
Mortal Capper, heading to sign up for Survivor this weekend in town, 24 hours by myself. What's your best lunch and dinner recommendation at or within walking distance of Circa?
Well, you can walk downstairs.
8 East.
And you can walk downstairs. Berries.
Berries.
Yeah, you can walk downstairs
dinner.
if you want. Yeah, if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want dinner. I mean,
simple question, simple answer.
Steakhouse. Go in there, get your rib cap. It's the Berry special.
Matt's been there a time or 10.
Time or 10.
Jason Stark, I agree with Sporer on the Savannah Bananas, but what are his thoughts on Jeffrey Yan treating MLB like he's on the bananas? My 9-year-old loves both. I'm pro bananas, but anti Yan's banana antics in MLB. I will say I was at Citi Field for his debut the other day, and the place went nuts when he got his K and jumped.
I know what he's. Oh, that pitcher that struck when he struck out the first guy that he struck it. What he like literally jumped like 4 feet in the air. And
yeah, it's enough.
I rolled my eye. Here's the deal: if you were that excited about it in your very first one, that's one thing. But then you read about it and you find out it's like it's this thing. He's done this in the minors. He's done this and whatever. And now I'm kind of like, okay, no, let's not.
so we expect more of this from him.
You're paid to strike. That is your job. Can you imagine like every time we came back from a segment and you did your read, you just jumped 4 feet in the air because you were like, yeah, woo, that's your job, dude.
A great conversation we had last segment. If I do that every time, review the segment positively. And I'll stop at this one. Little Bigley, hey, Gill, how big of boom will Savannah Bananas get from an MLB work stoppage? I've been to one MLB game, a 1-0 PV Kershaw gem at Petco. Since the 94 player strike, there was no World Series because billionaires and millionaires were fighting over money. Yeah. We'll get to more tweets here. We got to talk AFC North. Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Browns. Ravens lined at 11.5. Bengals 10.5. Steelers and Browns carrying out the backside. Steelers 8.5. Browns at 5.5. No surprises to those numbers. Let me just start with the Ravens because I'm curious to get your thoughts on that. On if you feel that is the proper pecking order. Obviously, a lot of people think the Bengals will win this division, but in terms of Baltimore, I was just trying to scour for like the stats that perhaps are not in the commonplace or in the common sort of discourse on this. Ravens defense last year, we think of the Ravens as a great defensive team. They were 29th in pressure rate, 31st in sack rate, 31st in get-off time. Apparently people track get-off time. Tied for third fewest sacks in the league at 30. They're 398 points allowed on the season. We're the most by a Ravens team since 2015 and third most in franchise history. Of course, they had a lot of injuries, but even when those guys were on the field, right? Marlon Humphrey, Roquan Smith, shells of their former selves. And then Lamar missed 3 games with a hamstring, 1 game to a back contusion, left games early with separate ankle and knee injuries, missed 1 practice even with an illness, and here's the key, here's what I want to get to, turned down scrambling opportunities more than he ever has in his career. 5.2 yards per attempt, only 5-point attempts per game. 24 first downs on runs, 47.8% success rate, only 2 rushing touchdowns, all either set or matched career lows since taking over as their full-time starter. And then a 10.7% sack rate, 3rd highest in the league behind Justin Fields and Geno Smith. Declan Doyle going to be the new OC. I mean, I guess the simple question is, was that the first sign that, okay, Lamar Jackson's not going to be Lamar Jackson forever?
I fully am on that train, and I understand I'm on an island here with this. I know everyone really just loves this Ravens team top to bottom, but for me, Derrick Henry's just proved me wrong the last 2 years. He can prove me wrong again this year, but it just, at some point, the production has to drop off. Like, you just cannot play at that level at an advanced age, and I think that, like, at some point we're going to see, I don't think he's the fall off a cliff dude, but I think he's definitely the noticeably slowed down type of guy. We have to be seeing that at some point. And then honestly, I just don't love the weapons here for Lamar Jackson. Even if you just want to take away the whole the scrambling aspect and say, hey, Lamar Jackson could be a pocket passer even if he wanted to. Okay, and we've heard this argument before. He's throwing to Bateman, Flowers, and Lane, right? I mean, like, this is, is there upside there with Lane? Obviously, sure, but I mean, Bateman or Flowers has to be your number one. That's nobody's number one in any circumstance. Mm-hmm. And then you look on the corner side, and like you said, I mean, down year out of both of these corners, and maybe they're just not good anymore. And if that's the case, I understand you bring in Trey Hendrickson, who's going to get you some pressure, and that certainly helps out corners. But this is a passing league, and you're in a division with Joe Burrow that has Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to throw to, right? And so if you can't cover those guys, I think it could be difficult. So they're not going to be bad by any stretch of the imagination, but for everybody to start kind of crowning this team, I think there was even a couple of picks in our guide of them winning the Super Bowl or something like that. Like, they weren't even in my top 4 teams, I think, as far as like Super Bowl that I would have put down. So I am a little bit down comparatively to the market on this team.
Bengals are who you thought they were, but maybe I can add some stuff here. 33 plus points, 3 times with 33 plus points last year. They still lost, making their 2-year record when reaching 33 points, 6-7. The rest of the NFL is 159, 13-2. It's incredible. They were horrific defensively in the first half of the season. Their first half, second half DVOA split was enormous. In other words, they improved greatly, but that is no predictor of future success when you improve that greatly from one half of the season to the other. But here's the good stuff for the Bengals. Obviously, Joe Burrow coming back. Though really, when Flacco played, there was some, there wasn't a huge drop-off by many metrics. But here's the deal. Schedule projected to be the easiest in the NFL by DVOA. Turnover luck seems like an area where the team should improve. They were victimized by 9 defensive returns for touchdowns last year. Did you know that? 9 turnovers were returned to the house against them last year. 6 picks, 3 fumbles. All the fumbles were by Noah Fant, who's no longer on the team, by the way. They themselves had 24 turnovers, their most since 2014. Only the Vikings had more turnovers per drive. So if the Bengals can just, that's all. If you just focus on the turnovers alone, Matt, in other words, you have less of your own, and then the other team, when they get them, doesn't actually, return them to the end zone, you're going to be that much better that quickly.
I agree. You bring in Dexter Lawrence, right? So now from a run-stopping standpoint,
which is a strange splurge for that franchise. Yeah, like they never do that.
You have him in there. Al Golden, I do wonder, we often talk about like second-year leaps for players, but I do wonder, like a guy like Al Golden making the transition to the pros and calling defensive plays and things like that. Like I do wonder, if he can be better as well. Now, talent, it's certainly helps, and the linebacking core is not talented at all. It's probably the least talented linebacking core in all of football, but the defensive line has pieces. Mafe, Lawrence, whatever. The corners played fairly decent last year. So if you can get if I could promise you just league average defensive play for Cincinnati right now, you'd be bullish. You'd be super bullish.
Give me that right now.
Yeah, because they're going to outscore. If they can be league average, they're going to outscore everybody. But I can't quite get there with them. This division to me I have it as a 2-team race between these two. There are some people who like the Steelers. I don't. But if I knew league average I would be pounding them right now.
Yeah. It's going to be a fascinating season. I will say this though. This is the put up or shut up year for the Bengals.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't happen this year, let's never speak of them again.
Yes.
In an off season.
Yeah.
With this kind of thing, because it is set up for them. We will talk Steelers. We do understand there are two other teams in this division. We'll talk Steelers and Browns on the other side. There's also golf, the second of the 3-week arc for the FedEx Points, where Scotty Scheffler is already saying, remember me? Already had a win last week. Maybe he could do it again this week. We'll get Matt's thoughts on the BMW. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.